Good morning, my name is Joe. I'm with Joe's Plumbing in Rooter in Rockledge, Florida. Welcome to Joe the Plumber Vids. I've been in business 22 years. I've had 30,000 successful plumbing jobs, and we're going to start videotaping plumbing jobs so that if you want to try them yourself, you can, or you can really understand how difficult the jobs are and call your local plumber. And so that is what we're all about. And after that, we have a water heater to install. We're putting in a water heater today. Number one thing you want to do is when you hook your hose to the water heater, you want the water to be on, because what it's going to do is it's going to flush the sediment and stuff out of the water heater. And so I always like to have the water heater on. Now, if it's such a leaker that you're not able to do that, then you just have to take your chances. So let's get started here. And we are going to open this drain. Spread the hose out to the driveway, and then we're going to turn the water on so it flushes. And you can really tell that, you know, there can be some sediment. This town that we're in is not too bad, but we've got this starting to flush. And then once you get the water going, you'll shut the water off. It's like having your finger over a straw. If you don't open this T&P valve or cut the pipe, it'll be like having your finger over a straw, and it will not drain. So that's where we're at now. We're going to cut this pipe to make sure it drains. I think we're going to cut this right here. And this water heater basically just started leaking because of age. So you can hear it. It's already starting to anti-siphon, and that's going to make this water heater drain. A lot of homeowners will try to drain the water heater themselves, and they'll go, "God, it's still leaking." That's because they didn't open the T&P valve and they didn't cut the pipes. So that is where we're at now. And you know, before you start draining it, you got to find the electrical box. You got to undo, you know, make sure the electricity's off, the water's off. Now the next thing you would do is you want to check the electricity. The electricity's been shut off. The panels are usually marked, but you never want to take it for granted. So this you can buy, you know, basically anywhere. And if it was charged, it would be doing this. So we know the electricity has been shut off. So that is basically step 2 of putting in the water heater. All right, this is the next step. We've soldered our fittings. You have to clean the fitting with a fitting brush. You have to sand it with a piece of sand cloth. You have to flux it. Flux is basically an acid that cleans it. And then you have to heat it up with your torch and solder it. And we'll show you a little bit of soldering when we get done. So that's where we're at now. So the next thing you want to do, as me, Joe the Plumber Vids, and been doing this for 32 years, I always want to Teflon and pipe dope my fittings. You know, every plumber has his little idiosyncrasies. This is one of mine. So I am going I think that this is really, Teflon tape is really just for PVC. But when you're dealing with copper and iron pipe, this kind of is like a double no leaker. So we are putting this on, right? And this is our expansion tank here in Florida. You have to have an expansion tank. They've redesigned all water heaters. So water heaters have a check valve now, and they're also redesigning the water meters where they're digital and they don't have to get out of their car. And so when they're replacing those, they're also putting on check valves. So what this does, instead of any fluctuation in the pressure going back and forth into the city water, it just stays in your house. And if you don't put on one of these, your T&P, your pressure and temperature valve, might pop off. So it's just one of our codes. Now, the pipe dope. Every homeowner should have a can of this. And like I said, you know, this is the van. You know, it's messy. Anytime it's messy, that means I had a great day yesterday, and I did have a good day. You can also see that there's $5,000 worth of parts and specialty tools in here. Yesterday I was on a job and had to make 2 special tools. First time in 32 years. To basically, I wanted to keep the tub. It was like an antique tub, and it was quite the job. So this is the pipe dope. That's the Teflon. All is well. And let's get on to our next step. Alright, well, we've soldered these fittings up, prepped the water heater, tried to use some of the old parts, but everything usually is brand new. And from my experience, especially the pets, they always leak right here on the water heater. So we've got Teflon, we've got pipe dope, and we're ready to roll this baby into the garage and install it. Here we are. All these fittings are sanded. The pipe is sanded. So we're fluxing this up. This needs to be sanded. We always here at Joe's Plumbing put in a new shut-off valve. You know, great, it shut off. The water heater was 9 years old. They got 9 years out of it. They're guaranteed for 6 years against leaking. So they got 9 years. I would like to think that, hope that people get more than that, but you know, they're on the beach side. But I'm not going to reuse the old shut-off valve. So let's just say that the other one lasts 9 years. At 18 years, that valve may not shut off. So come on, just because it shuts off this time, don't be so lazy to leave in the shut-off. If you're a plumber, if you're a homeowner, you know, you're on your own, but that's what we would do here at Joe's Plumbing. One new shut-off valve. What, it took an extra 10 minutes, you know? It doesn't take that long to do it. Boom, new shut-off valve. Wow, that really took a long time. It doesn't take that long. And then we will get solder in here. And I'll show you a little bit about the soldering. On this technique, this is when you know you're a master. This should be on the test to get your master's. When you can do this, you're basically a master. You forget to flux this, you forget to sand it, and you're going to have some issues. That's what we would say would be bumpity bump. All solid, in there, and all we have to do is cut the piece of pipe that's already been prefabbed for the expansion tank. Once again, here at Joe's Plumbing, it's code, and you have to have an expansion tank. You know, I'm not making up the laws. So basically, the pressure has nowhere to go. That's why they want the expansion tank. And it'll also, you know, this check valve in here will start making a clicking noise. So I think we are all ready to start soldering. I have like 3 different types of torches. It all depends on, you know, what application I'm using. And here in a garage where it's wide open, this is what I would use. It's called a MAP gas tank. Anybody who isn't Joe the Plumber, you always start far away. You don't solder this first, and next thing you know, you're going to burn yourself. I'm not a prima donna where I need to wipe my fittings. I'm more worried about no leaks. The more solder, the better. That's just my personal opinion. You know, well, you got a lot of time on your hands if you're wiping your solder joint. It's, you know, a lot of time on your hands. I can't imagine. You know, it's in a garage. It's not like I'm making a bed frame. I always start at the top because solder goes towards the heat. You know, and after this, all we have to do is hook up the electricity. Here in the state of Florida, or at least in Brevard County, they don't mind the plumbers hooking up the electricity. That noise you're hearing is a good noise. That means that these people, their smoke detector is working. So that is a beautiful thing. The dailies, not only did we put in a water heater, we checked their smoke detector. All right, well, the water heater is filling up. Usually you would open up the hot side of a tub and leave all the rest of the faucets closed, because that's where basically the largest orifice. So if any trash is in, you know, has been created by doing this water heater, installing it, it's going to go out the largest orifice of the house. Now, this has got a T&P line that goes outside, so we're going to flush it right out there. There's nothing going to be nothing bigger than that. We just shut it off, and we're energized. So we have no leaks. So, but a lot of plumbers would leave this old plate in. You know, I am not that greedy, and I'm not that lazy. So I'm going to take an extra 5 minutes, and I'm going to put the dailies in the one that they bought. They bought it. It should be installed. 10-4 and 4. So we're unscrewing this. Take the old one off. Put the new one on. Ground wire on. Maybe that's why they should have electricians do this, because they never, it's always a chore. One water heater installed. Took us about an hour and a half. It's in a pan. I think they last longer that way. Expansion tank by code. New shut off. And now all we need to do is turn it on. Turn this on the hot side. And here's the water heater. Water heater, beautiful. Stick your ear right up against here. And we have got that water heater is heating. And that's an out. Thanks for watching Joe's Plumbing Vids. Appreciate it. Thank you.